Alrighty, hi guys. It's been a couple weeks since I've gotten around to this, so I'm excited to do a nice bout of painting in the afternoon. It just feels like the weather is great and I'm dying to get some of my spring designs out into the world. Today I'm going to be playing around with these, dropping pens everywhere and paintbrushes. Excuse me. Today I'm going to be experimenting with this design of hydrangeas. I will have this on my website, so you'll be able to right-click on it, save it to your desktop, and print it, and then follow along. You can either trace it onto watercolor paper, or you can just print it on printer paper and just have your way with it. For the time being, I'm using a tiny dabber paintbrush. This one is 5 out of 0, or any paintbrush that's like a 5/0 or a 0, anything with a little hash mark in there should be perfect for the small details. And then I have this larger, this one is a size 12, and this one I'll be using for doing, excuse my dog, I'll be using this for my larger color washes and bigger areas without a lot of detail. There are a couple of different ways to approach hydrangeas. Today I'm going to be working with blue, but you'll also find them in pinks, they're in yellows, whites, greens, all sorts of cool shades. And I'm going to start by getting a lot of water on my paintbrush. I'm going to use, if you have this palette, and if you don't, the ones that I have linked in my show notes are on Amazon. They're really easy to use. But I'm going to start with this navy blue color and just do a large color wash, meaning a lot of blue, a lot of water, and just a little bit of paint. And I'm just going to kind of dot and sort of fill in. It doesn't have to be perfect. I actually like a looser style for this. And what we're going to do first is we're going to paint the larger, less detailed areas of the flowers. I'm going to give this a chance to dry a little bit, and then I'm going to go in and add some shadowing, and then I'm going to finish up with smaller flower details, but just trying to keep it all kind of loose and not super detailed. The pencil lines have done a lot of the work for me here. So we can just kind of fill in the blanks without having to be super precise. Just gonna fill in some of these outer petals here. And all of these tutorials, when I'm done with them, I put them up on my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to come back to these anytime. On my YouTube channel, I have a bunch of just little 20 or 30-minute quick bite-sized painting tutorials, all with pre-sketched designs like these. So you can focus on some basic techniques of using watercolors with brush strokes and supplies and sort of get the gist of how to do it. I love these for beginner artists. These are great. I let my kids use them all the time. My daughter loves to just follow along with a painting video. Keeps them busy for a little bit. And even my mom loves them. She didn't have art classes growing up, and she always feels like she missed out on that. So this sort of satisfies that creative bug for her. And I'll come back and paint the leaves once this is dry. Watercolor is one of those paints where you want to wait until it's dry before you add another color, otherwise they'll kind of run together. Now, when I was drawing this, I wanted it to look like there are some flowers in the front and some farther back. So you'll notice that the smaller flowers, I'd meant to have them be in the background. And the ones with the larger flowers are closer up. If you feel like your paint is too dark, you can always add a little bit of water to it to lighten it up a little bit. Okay, now that this is down, I'm not going to wait until this is totally dry because I want to add some shadows in here so that you can sort of tell where these flowers meet, where one little bunch ends and the other begins. So I'm actually going to take a little bit higher of a concentration of paint, just dump my paintbrush into some of the paint, and then I'm going to sort of dot. Let's see, this one comes around here like that. So it looks like this guy is peeking out. And then I think I'll blend this in a little bit more. You can always add a little bit more water to sort of blend in. And as you can see, these are sort of starting to look a little bit more three-dimensional here. Add a little bit here. This one's gonna create a little bit of a shadow here. Kind of going up the sides on this one a little bit too. Can't forget about this one. And how about a little bit right in here? Please feel free to make this your own, add more detail, less detail, different colors, more shading, whatever your heart desires. But I'll put together another video soon of doing pink ones and also doing white ones. Okay, so I'm gonna give these a chance to dry. Now, I would recommend waiting on the leaves until these are totally dry, because if I come in here with green, I will have blue-green flowers, turquoise flowers, and I don't really want that. So I just cleaned off my big brush and I'm gonna put it on the side. And I'm actually gonna do a double happiness ginger jar design. I just love this cute little symbol. And it looks like one of the ginger jars down in my family room. So it'll match. And this one starts, and I love, you can paint whatever design you want on this vase. I really like stripes, gingham, ombre, sunset, solid colors, hearts, polka dots, whatever your heart desires. So the double happiness ginger jar looks like this. So there's a bar here. Overlaps with the flower. And then a bar here. And then one underneath. I was told that this symbol means double happiness, and I really hope that it does mean double happiness and not something else. And then you sort of have these lines in the middle. These are going to be sort of a square. And then another one of these guys here. And then I believe one more. Okay. Now for this, the rest of the design, I'm just going to sort of add little polka dots because that's what my base looks like. I think I might do another little line down here. Coming together nicely. Going to add a couple little dots sort of along the edges so that it looks like the pattern is continued around the vase. Okay, now that this is done, I feel like my leaves look like they're pretty good. These look like this is fairly dry. If this were totally dry, I would go in and get the leaves. It's not, mine's not quite dry yet, so in the interest of filming this video and having it be the right amount of time, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna just get, with my dabber, a lot of paint and just a little bit of water, and I'm gonna add a couple sort of little shadows and petals to sort of make it pop a little bit more. Be careful and before you put your hand on top of your vase if it's still wet. Mine is fortunately dry. The important thing to remember as you're doing this is that nobody knows what the real thing looks like. I don't even really, I'm painting this and I'm just kind of winging it, but whatever you come up with is going to be beautiful, and no one has seen what the original looks like. This does not have to be perfect. And it will look so fabulous no matter what. So don't feel like if yours isn't exactly like mine, it is not a perfect piece of artwork. Okay. Now, I'm going to just kind of blend this in a little bit by taking some more water, and I'm just going to dot some water on the details that I just painted. There's no paint on my paintbrush. The water itself is just going to kind of let this all flow together a little bit more naturally. And when I dot over it, I am just giving them a little bit of a rub with my brush. Not a huge scoop of paper or anything like that, just kind of tenderizing it. And you'll notice that these just look a little bit less harsh when you go over them like that. This is really starting to take shape, isn't it? I should have mentioned also that I'm using my big brush for this. That's the way that I get more water on my paintbrush. Okay, so we're gonna give this a minute. Now, when I look, and I can tell sort of by the way that you might be able to see if I hold it like this, the areas that are shiny are the areas that are still wet. And as you can see, it looks like for the most part, I was able to stay away from the leaves. So I'm gonna go ahead and start painting those. If you feel that yours is still wet, then please take a couple minutes, let it dry, walk away, get yourself a drink, go for a little walk, and come back. Now the green that I'm gonna use for this one, I really like on this palette, this is actually more of like an olive green. That one always looks really cool with your more earthy bouquets. This one is a really fun, very bright green. This is a little bit more of a grass green. And these are sort of turquoise. This is a little bit more green than turquoise, but these three are kind of turquoise to me in my eyes, and this one also. So I'm gonna go with this one over here. You might not be able to see it when I move this, but just to make you aware. I recommend painting on a scratch sheet of paper just to make sure that you like the colors together before you fully commit to it. So for the leaves, I'm gonna use my big paintbrush, and I'm gonna start up here with this little guy. This looks like it's pretty dry up here. And you'll notice that I'm sort of lining up the tip of my paintbrush to the tip of the flower. And I'm not gonna go all the way just yet to the blue. I guess I am. Scratch that. I'll go all the way in there. With my little pointy tip here. And I'm gonna work quickly because I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take my dry little dabber brush and I'm gonna pick up the some of the paint so it looks like there are veins in the leaves. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. That looks like a leaf there, but it might be a petal. Oh well. All right, here's my last one. Okay. Making sure my dabber is totally clean and dry. There's still quite a bit of blue on there. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to take and just draw a line. And see how the paintbrush just kind of picks up some of the paint. There's a lot of water on this one, might take me a minute. This one's mostly dry, but I'm kind of okay with that. If you feel like yours is dry and you want to really make sure that you get in there with the paintbrush, you can always get it wet again. These are very wet up here. Got that. What do we think? I'm not sure that I'm loving the way that these lines look. Totally up to you, but I might actually go and make darker lines over these now and see what happens. Yeah, I think I like this better. But if you like the way that yours turned out, by all means, stick with it. I might even just do sort of a little vein. There we go. little upside down V's. There we go. Yeah, I think that's what I like. That was the right move. All right, I will let these dry, but thank you for hanging out with me. I have got a whole bunch more videos on my YouTube channel. Please feel free to download these and print them and trace them. As you know, these are, I own the copyrights to these, so please don't sell them. That would be weird. But I hope that you find a way to use these in your home somewhere, do these with your family, your friends, and just have a blast. Thank you so much again for spending time with me. I hope that you guys have a great day, and I can't wait to see you again on here soon. Check out the show notes for all my resources and favorite details, and I'll be back on here again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.